Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the PC Muscle Race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
What's poppin'?
Hi, LeRon.
Hey, Corey.
I see you're eating a pot pie.
Oh, I am.
Is it good? Is it delicious?
It's delicious.
Is it everything you hoped and dreamed it would be?
Yeah, especially because it's got that nice flaky crust. Yeah, it is.
Speaking of hopes and dreams, also here's PK Power Pat Klein.
And I too come with a flaky crust, one that I am not proud of.
Is that the
Is that sunburn? Is that a sunburn you got?
Nice and toasty.
Oh my gosh, this escalated quickly. Well, I was excited to introduce our guest, but now maybe we should be embarrassed, but that's okay. Also here from Xbox Expansion Pass is the insipid ghost himself, Luke Lohr. Welcome to the show, Luke.
Thank you very much, man. I was looking forward to this. As soon as I got that invite, I appreciate you having me on. It's always a pleasure to connect and reconnect. So yeah, good to see you, man.
Yeah, like we were saying in before we started recording, it's been quite a while since you've been on, but we always connect in passing on social media, and it's always good to see you. Always good to hear your show. Before we get started, why don't you tell people who you are, what your show's about, the whole thing.
The whole shebang. Okay, so my name is Luke Lohr. I host the Xbox Expansion Pass, which is a podcast kind of dedicated to covering all the goings on in gaming, kind of as it pertains to the Xbox ecosystem. On XEP, you'll find myself in a community and my co-host Logan. We love video games of all types across all platforms, from mobile and PlayStation and Switch to Xbox, of course. We cover things on Xbox, so you'll find true-hearted gamers that just love people and welcome everybody. But we cover games from an Xbox perspective. I also do a number of different interviews from across the gaming industry. Since 2019, I've done 120 plus developer interviews to date. Big names like Cliff Bleszinski from Gears of War, and Steve Chapman from Sea of Thieves, and Seamus Blackley, the designer of the Xbox, the original Xbox, a number of other people as well across all of gaming. And so it's a list I'm very proud of, and one that I work to kind of keep growing. But I do my best to just cover Xbox, be positive, have fun with a community. We have a wonderful community surrounding XEP, and just enjoy it, right? Like, I was fortunate enough to go to not E3 this past year, but be in the room for the Xbox showcase this year, which was pretty cool, seeing that E-Day trailer and stuff. And just love video games, enjoy covering them, and I'm a teacher by day, gamer by night.
Nice. Yeah, everybody should go check out XEP. It's one of the best Xbox related podcasts out there, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that because Luke's sitting here on our show. I'm saying that as a general fan, and somebody who really enjoys the Xbox and that ecosystem. And if you enjoy that ecosystem or games in general, you should just go listen to it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, great. It's a great show. So it's weird. It's a Tuesday night, everybody. Switching things up a little bit, but nobody out there knows because they get this on Monday. Everybody having a good week so far, though? Everybody's week kind of going the way they want it to go.
Yeah, it's pretty stellar.
Yeah, it's been a weird week coming off of a mini vacation and going back into work on a Tuesday, thinking it's Monday, and then now recording when we usually record on Wednesday, and it's still Tuesday.
Yeah, no, you're putting us through the ringer, Corey.
I know. I'm sorry. It's my bad.
No, I got to go back to work this week after having a week working from home because of the RNC. It is very interesting to see how fast they took down all the decorations that they had lying around it. It looked like it never even happened.
Wasn't as exciting as the Butler situation, was it?
We had snipers on the roof, and but those roofs weren't tilted or slanted, so they could.
Well,
that's a political joke, by the way.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay, Pat. Nothing too exciting is always good news.
It's always exciting here. Just today, Kamala Harris was just right, like 2 miles away from my house. And
What was
I
she
didn't
doing?
even know about it.
Oh, what was she doing? Buying coffee?
No,
Hanging
it
out?
was her
Reading a
first
book?
rally.
Oh.
Yeah, her rally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
She's
it
raised
was in,
$100 million in 2 days.
I know, that's
Yeah.
so crazy,
It's wild.
man.
No, she had it at a school just like right down the street.
Yeah. And the GOP is crying about it.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I'm not crying about? This podcast. If you want to support it, you can head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. You can support the Boss Rush podcast. You can get our pre-show for just $1. You'll get it every week, as well as 2-week early access to After Dark, access to Expansion Pass on Nintendo Power Block, and more perks at the tier that's right for you. Head on over there at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. If you don't want to support us financially, it's no big deal. Support us on YouTube, youtube.com/Boss Rush Network, or leave us a 5-star rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen. You can find all of our content on our newly refreshed website, bossrush.net. That's been a challenge, trying to make everything work. But it's okay. It's okay. The websites break all the time, everybody. It's fine. Speaking of breaking, Pat, you got anything cool coming up? Anything going on?
Well, we just finished recording a book club for Stray with Lala from Toge Productions.
Yes.
That it will most likely be available about the same time as this podcast airs.
Yep.
So
It'll be free by the time this podcast comes out for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And then for our patrons, we will be recording our Paper Mario book club with Boss Rush celeb Celeste Roberts is going to be joining us for that one, as well as my friend from the Twitterverse named Taylor.
Super fun.
Yep.
I'm man, I have some words about Paper Mario, but we'll get there. LeRon, you got anything cool coming up?
Nothing really notable and exciting. Of course, like we are holding casting calls for After Dark though. So like yeah, if you want to just have a guest spot on there or actually think about becoming a chair on the After Dark show, like just feel free to reach out to us over at Bossers.net.
Yeah. Luke, you got anything cool coming up? You always have cool interviews coming up.
I often do. It's actually been rather quiet after not E3, where we got to connect with a lot of different people, creators and whatnot. I found that a lot of devs went back into work mode, and have just not been able to find the time. One of the things that's interesting is scheduling worldwide with indie devs. And so I was trying to connect with the Flintlock devs, but they were over in, I want to say the Philippines. In the time zones, it just couldn't work. So I actually don't have any upcoming interviews that I'd care to announce because I don't know if they'll happen or not. And I've got school starting in 2-3 weeks from now for me. I'm a teacher, right? And so I try not to schedule too many there. But in general, it's just enjoying XCP content, trying to make games fun, not work is kind of our quiet motto. And so nothing crazy, just enjoying a lot of the stuff. Like Game Pass has treated us well lately. For all the talk of finances, I've been playing a lot of stuff there. So that's kind of been my modus operandi lately. I know we got what we've been playing coming up, so I'll save it for that.
Yeah, Game Pass, a lot of cool things coming are out now.
Came out
on Game Pass now. So I'm excited to check out some things since I got back from vacation. Kind of been in Switch mode because of traveling, and TV didn't have HDMI hookups for this series. But yeah, I as for me, my Fun and Games side quest episode is finally coming out this week. I was a little ahead of myself the last couple weeks, so my 20-minute segment on Senua Saga Hellblade 2 will be out probably by the time this episode is out or shortly after. I am working with our friend of show, Lord Cognito and Ibantis, to try, scheduling the Last Word Destiny podcast. And then a couple cool things in the works. Some I will not announce here, but one, Jeff Gardner, formerly of Bethesda and of Something Wicked Games, is returning to the show in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. Not as an interview, but just as a guest to talk games with us, LeRon.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, I mean, of course, I'm gonna try to pick his brain about Weird Song, but
Oh, of course, yeah.
but very excited about that. And then
Stephanie's I can't wait.
I know, I'm so excited. Stephanie's got a bunch of spotlights coming up, and I have a couple in the works too. TBD on those though. Also, before we get into what we've been playing, we are headed to PAX West. So if you are in the Seattle area, August 30th through September 2nd, we will be there. Come say hi. It's me, Pat, Stephanie, Ed, David. Who else? Who else is going? Is that it? That's it, right?
That's all that we have confirmed right now.
Yep. That's all that's confirmed. Maybe more, maybe not, but we'll all be there.
Yep.
Come say hi.
Yep. Steph is going to be a particular celebrity at this PAX West as she got accepted to a panel.
Yeah, she's doing the trivia with McCourt. Jacob McCourt.
Yep, Jacob
right?
McCourt.
Yep.
She will be doing the Super Video Game Trivia at PAX West 2024 on Friday, August 30th at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're at PAX,
sweet,
be
midnight.
Sure to catch that.
Midnight for us. All right, let's get into what we've been playing. Luke, you're our esteemed guest. You've been playing some cool games. What are you playing?
Oh man, as I said, Game Pass has treated subscribers well lately with just an incredible slate that's been coming out. I wrapped up Still Wakes the Deep recently, which was a really interesting game. I had beaten Lords of the Fallen just a few days prior to starting Still Wakes the Deep, and I really enjoyed Lords of the Fallen, but it was top tier AA, plenty of flaws, some performance issues, and for someone like myself who is not a Souls player, like I'm not good at them, I don't have the patience for them. Lords of the Fallen was difficult. Right now, I've done my 180 hours in Elden Ring kind of thing, but I don't play like Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, etc. So Lords of the Fallen, which was on Game Pass, was a really fun time for me, but it started to wear thin after a while. And then after that, I jumped right into Still Wakes the Deep, which is a really interesting horror walking simulator. Like, it is a walking simulator, and I say that to temper expectations for anyone going into wanting a horror atmosphere. It's more about the atmosphere and the dialogue and the characters, which are all good. I won't say great. I was really glad I played it. I was really glad I didn't buy it, if that makes sense. Whereas with Lords of the Fallen, I would have purchased it. That'd be a great $30, $40 game. And I went from Lords of the Fallen to Still Wakes the Deep, and now I'm 20 plus hours in on Flintlock, Siege of Dawn, which I'm really enjoying, but much like Lords of the Fallen, plenty of flaws. It's not perfect, but I think we are so often spoiled by AAA experiences like the Jedi Survivors and the God of War Ragnaroks that we just forget about this AA place that used to live there. And Game Pass to me is a lot like Blockbuster of back in the day, where you would just walk, see a cool cover, pick it up, take it home, check it out. That's what I do with Game Pass. And it's been nice this summer because with no major AAA game that's released post Hellblade, at least not in my world, I've really enjoyed a lot of like AA offerings. And so I will recommend people check out Lords of the Fallen, Still Wakes the Deep, and Flintlock if you have Game Pass. If you see them on sale and they're in your genre, check them out as well. Flintlock is pretty recent and definitely in need of a patch. The lighting is very weird. Like, it gets way too dark to see even at 100% brightness, which is very strange.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's very odd. But because I'm
but that's the artistic's vision.
I don't think it is. I think this is, we had to get the game out and had a schedule. Because the art is actually very good. It's just, you can't see. And so, but when you're outside, it's beautiful. So I just think it probably needed a little more time in the oven, but when you're at that budget, maybe you don't quite get it. But I really do hope people give it a chance if you have Game Pass. And if you're not a Game Pass gamer, and you see it on PlayStation Plus or a Steam sale, every one of those games, if you get them on sale, I think you would be happy with. Just don't go in full price expecting the world. But I've really enjoyed my time with it. I've been relaxing and just playing games, and that's what I like to do. I love the Darksiders of the world. I love the AA games that exist because yeah, I play the AAAs, but I like to explore beyond just that. And I play a lot of COD and Fortnite and a lot of other stuff too. So
Now the
Nice.
Flintlock traversal system, how do you like that? Is it good? Is it exhilarating? Like that's one of the things that appeals to me is that fast like traveling.
have you been playing it?
No, I played the Pathless though, and it reminded me of the Pathless travel system where you shoot arrows and it makes you speed up faster.
Gotcha.
But
Okay, so Flintlock operates as like a third person action game with the most minimalistic Souls level stuff. It's not a Souls like. I think the
Yeah.
Souls comparisons are actually pretty inaccurate. At least that's my take on it after 20 hours. I think the traversal. Maybe you're seeing clips from where they have this really cool thing where you unlock these portals and the god that accompanies you through
Yeah.
propels you through. That's really fun, but it's only a matter of traversal. There's no challenge. It's not races. It's just moving about the world to get to different spots for platforming. And so if you're looking at a clip, I think it can be a little bit deceptive, but it's really neat when you do it. I will say that because you unlock the points and you get a little satisfactory kick of like an adrenaline dopamine hit of like, oh, this feels good. I unlocked this area. But it operates more like a third person action game where you run, double jump, sometimes triple jump if you use your dodge. And it's good, not great. Some of the platforming she doesn't mantle when she should. She doesn't quite catch certain spots. Some things can be deceptive, but because I enjoy third person action games, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So it's a good time.
Yep. I have it downloaded. I unfortunately am playing another Xbox Game Pass game right now, so I haven't gone to Flintlock, but
What are you
it's
playing?
well, I am playing Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Oh, how are you liking that? Because I have seen the art style, and that's all I really know about it. I've heard Zelda, and I've seen the art.
It's very much like Zelda. It is Zelda with like a comic book art style and a Persona social link system.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's strange. Like it's also like got this cozy vibe too. Like you're on a European vacation in like the Alps. However, you're also slaying monsters because that's what this village is known for. Is it has 25 dungeons located around its vicinity where slayers go out and they explore the dungeons, and it's kind of like a tourist attraction. So you go to the dungeons during the daytime, and then in the evening time, you meet up with other people, build up your relationships with them, and they give you perks as their relationship meter grows, such as maybe the ability to upgrade your weapons, or maybe they'll give you a key that unlocks locked chests later on in various areas. So it's a lot of fun, and it's very addicting. Uh, a lot of it just because it just gives you the freedom to do what you want. If you don't have to necessarily do a dungeon run if you don't want to, you can go and you can just explore the scenery, and that would also boost up some of your stats as well, such as maybe defense because you did it in a very cold setting, or your HP because clean fresh air from the forest. But it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, there's actually more than 25 dungeons, but it's there's still quite a bit to do, but it doesn't rush you to do it.
That sounds good. That's on my passive interest. I enjoyed Kunitsu-Gami this summer, and I'm gonna check out that game next. But if you're recommending Dungeons of Hinterberg, I think what I'll do is look into it more because I hear the name a lot.
Yeah,
I hear
no,
the name a lot.
it's definitely getting some good reviews. It's very unique in that whole cozy Zelda Persona vibe. But it's definitely worth checking out for sure. Like it was a small team that developed this, but you can definitely see a lot of attention that they put into this. So
Gotcha. Nice, man. Very cool.
yep. Anything else you're playing?
Let's see. Still Wakes the Deep, Lords of the Fallen, Flintlock. No, I think we kind of wrapped up some battle passes in COD. Because my buddies and I, we do enjoy Call of Duty and Warzone quite a bit, which is, you know, in the Xbox world, a very big deal right now. But we've been playing it for a long time, and I'm looking forward to Black Ops 6 as well. But wrapping those up, and I mean, I enjoy mobile games. I play stuff on my phone. And I think the next game I'm going to play will probably be Kunitsu-Gami with Dungeons of Hinterberg. And then by that time, I would imagine either coverage codes or it's out by then will be Star Wars Outlaws, which I'm really excited to play. I know some people did some private door remote play sessions a few days ago, and they are echoing what some of us have said from E3, which was this game was totally a Splinter Cell game at one point. It was totally a Splinter Cell game at one point. And then they were like, Star Wars, yes. Kind of like how Avatar and Far Cry were a thing. And so I'm curious if people check that out. But my Discord is pushing me to check out that actual Avatar game. I'm just deciding if I want to spend $40 on it or not, because I like Avatar a lot. I just don't know if I'll have time to put in for a good kind of Far Cry Avatar experience. So I'm decided.
There's a lot of content in it. I platinumed the game in, I want to say like 85 hours, but it is a big world. It's a gorgeous world though. And you definitely like pick up on a lot of like Avatar lore, meeting up these various tribes, and kind of seeing what's going on a different side of Pandora.
Interesting. Recommended, would you say?
You know what? It's one of the better Ubisoft games in a while, I would say.
All right, fair point. I will. I'm leaning. You know what I mean? Like I'm leaning.
It is a massive open world, though, so
yeah,
you got to be ready for that. It is a commitment.
Fair point. Good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What else are you playing, Pat?
I finished up Paper Mario. That was game number 27. We will talk about that on our book club, so I won't go into that. But I also just today finished up Mario versus Donkey Kong after putting it down for a little bit. And I'm talking about the plus worlds as well. Yeah, the plus side. So I got all 100 and, well, there's more than 120 stars if you do the expert levels, but I got the 120 stars for all of the main levels of the game.
Nice.
Yep, that was fun. And, I realized I said NES World Championship Update. I never actually talked about it on this podcast. I talked about it on Power Block. But needless to say, I do have Nintendo's World Championship NES Edition. And I have been doing some of the speedrun stuff in that. I did try out the World Championship mode, and I thought I did pretty good. I, completed it with some A+, some A++. And it turns out I may be in the top 60% of people that play.
Look at you.
Top 60%.
Wow.
That means I'm lower than 50%. Of like a lot of the challenges I did. So I feel very humbled about that, because I thought I did good, and it turns out I did horrible compared to the rest of the world.
You shouldn't have looked anything up.
You did well. We're proud of you.
Yeah.
I would say my best was like a 39% in my age bracket.
In your age bracket.
They measure your rank in two ways when you do these world championships. They measure it based on the world, like out of all the players who did this is where you rank. And then they also measure you in your age bracket, which is kind of cool, because the game that you played, they put a little like screenshot. It's like, you were this old when this game came out.
Oh my gosh. Yikes.
Yeah, so like Super Mario's like, you were 3 years old when this game came out. And look at me now. I'm within 60%.
Nice. Wow.
Of the score. So there's some people who take that game very seriously.
It feels that way.
Yes. Fun though. Definitely fun. But outside of speedrunning, there isn't a whole lot more to do with it. But it's fun.
Nice. I've been thinking about it, but also like, I don't know, that the other Nintendo game, the the smiling man has my attention now. So
Are you for real?
Really?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I was like, wait, what?
no,
What? Can I
I was
just?
like, are you for real?
no.
I'm gonna
Being
either.
punked here?
Yeah, like I'm either gonna lose everybody that was remotely interested in my content or not. I saw that trailer. I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool. And then I saw like the actual trailer, and I was like, what a disappointment.
Yeah.
I'm so
Don't worry,
disappointed
Yeah.
by
it's a cow
this.
block.
It was
What
like
a
it was
letdown.
it was like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just you wait. It's going to be the most amazing visual novel story Nintendo has ever told.
Yes, one of like
And,
6.
Probably. It
Mhm.
probably
Sure.
is if we're being serious.
Made by the guy who developed Metroid.
Yeah. Speaking of Metroid, LeRon, what are you playing? What do you save us from this terrible rabbit hole we just fell into?
Okay, so I broke the seal on Kaku Ancient Seal, and it was not for me. Like it looked like a game that I was going to be into, and it honestly felt like a bad experience of Jack and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy.
Oh
Hmm.
no.
Except it was Jack without the Daxter, and that kind of threw me. I
Well,
mean,
that gets some people excited. Some people don't like Daxter.
yeah, I know.
Daxter was the soul of Jack and Daxter. What are you talking about?
I didn't say it was me. I said some people.
Well, those
Yeah,
people can listen to something else.
I mean, as far as the game itself, it's not bad. It just I don't know, it just didn't tickle my spot enough for me to say I wanted to keep on with it. So I only played like 2 hours of the game, and it was like a half-hearted 2 hours because I didn't really like make any real progression. Like I got some story bits done and stuff like that. So like I'm just gonna put it on the shelf for now. It might be a game I come back to a little bit later, but I don't know. I'm back into Tekken 8 though because content drop happened last night. We got brand new character for anyone that's interested. And so a lot of my time was spent playing Tekken. Plus Evo just happened over the weekend, and anytime like a big fighting game tournament happens, that usually like gets me back into the mood to play fighting games and stuff like that. And of course, like with the big announcements and stuff that were happening, particularly in Tekken, because Big Daddy Heihachi is coming back. We thought he was dead, but he's coming back.
He's never dead.
Mhm.
Like
I
Akuma in
know, I
Street Fighter,
know.
you gotta have
Can
them.
only be thrown on in volcanoes so many times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but if you look at it, like like all the big bads are showing back up because M Bison just came back in Street Fighter 6. Shao Kahn is supposed to be making a return in Mortal Kombat, and so of course like Heihachi's like hold on, like the four devils, like are not going to leave me behind. So I don't know who the other big bad is in these fighting games, but man, like Evo was great. Like I wound up watching practically all the Tekken tournament because Tekken is my game. I watched the Guilty Gear Strive tournament, which oh my god, like Guilty Gear is a fun looking game. It's fast as hell too. I just can't get into it. I used to be a Guilty Gear player back in the day, but I can't. It's so technical now. It's like no, I'll just leave it where it is. But yeah, like Evo was fun, and like I said, like it got me to playing Tekken most of the weekend up through today. So yeah, that's everything I've been playing. I'm going to jump back into Monster Hunter Stories 2 real soon here because I know Pat's still making his way through, and I just talked to Andre today, and Andre is a couple of acts behind me, so I was like, okay, I need to get back into it and keep the momentum going.
Sounds like a spoiler cast brewing.
If we can all finish the game, then it's potential. It's got potential to be one.
Yeah. I'm still debating on whether or not I'm going to go back and play the original Monster Hunter Stories. I do want to. I there's a part of me that wants to go back and play it again because, like all the cutscenes are now full dialogue, spoken dialogue, and I was like, this gives me just enough incentive to want to go back and play it, just because like I played it and beat it when it was brand new, so there's a lot of stuff I've forgotten about it. But it also reminds me I need to go ahead and watch the Monster Hunter Stories Ride On anime series. I need to do that because Monster Hunter Stories Ride On basically is inspired by the entire Monster Hunter Stories 1 game, so I need to check that out. But yeah, that's everything I've been playing. Get back into Ghost of Tsushima. I actually put it on my I put my ROG Ally. And speaking of ROG Allies, I'm debating should I sell my ROG Ally to get the ROG Ally X?
No,
I'm debating.
no.
I'm really debating. I know it's it's a pro model, and you guys know me. I don't buy pro models if I already have the base model. You guys know me. So why is it because it's a portable gaming system? Because then again, like I didn't do this for the OLED.
Yeah, you're the PC equivalent of a Nintendo fan there, LeRon.
I am. I am, but I mean I love my ROG Ally though. I kind of like I just kind of want that, like the ability to like actually like drop a full size like like SSD in it, as opposed to like these like these are cute and everything, but like they get expensive when you try to get 4 terabyte in there, and whereas the normal ones, the 2280s, like they're fairly price nice, So I don't know. It's just one of those things, but I tell you what, tech is fun. Tech is fun. I like it. I can't wait for these next iteration of PC handhelds to come out because Lenovo's going back to the drawing board. Apparently MSI is going to try one more time. Apparently, and of course Asus is going to do their thing with the ROG Ally.
Maybe Xboxes will come out next year.
Next year, I'm thinking 2026. Unless they've got something up their sleeve. Unless they've got something up their sleeve and they've been developing this for a while now. But I feel like if they were developing it right now, we would have heard something about it during the actual like the trials, the hearings.
Well, it was in that leak. It was in the leak.
It was that leak, but it was more like concept,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of going off what like other people have said online, like
because we know the baby Xbox Series S. We know they said that was a thing that was coming.
Yeah.
But like it was all speculation for like a handheld version of it, and also like Uncle Phil's in there talking about we want to co-opt like the system. Like if we got these Windows handhelds, like we need to make Xbox a home on that.
Yeah, not to get too deep in the weeds, but it probably depends on which way Xbox is or Microsoft is leaning in terms of their gaming division after the next 5 years or so, right? I mean, you're not going to develop a handheld if you're going to try to transition into like a third party /PC/ hey, our Xboxes are Game Pass machines now, right? Like I don't know.
I am curious though. Hey, to all of our viewers and listeners out there, like if you guys have actually got yourself one of those Xbox sticks or whatever they call them damn things, like we want to hear from you guys. Like
hit us up the Amazon Fire Sticks.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Because I don't care that much. I have an Nvidia Shield TV. Like I'll just get a subscription to GeForce Now.
I don't have a problem. I have an Xbox plugged into my TV, so we're fine.
Yeah, I mean I have a computer and a ROG Ally.
LeRon, do you know Kay Asante? Do you know that
No, I don't.
creator? Okay.
No.
The way you talk about tech reminds me very much of him. Corey or Pat, do you guys know who I'm talking about by chance?
Nah.
Okay. One of the coolest content creators out there. He runs he runs a gaming podcast, but also a tech podcast. And hearing you talk reminds me of him. So I muted my you probably saw me typing. I messaged him and I'm like, bro, I need you two to connect. I'm going to DM you his name because he talks about tech in the way that you talk about tech. And I had a chance to meet him in person out in LA this past summer, and I've known his content. Great dude, but I sent him a message with your handle, and I'm going to send you a message with his handle because it's funny. You two are cut from the same tech cloth of
I appreciate that.
Minds. So
I feel like I feel like these boss rush this boss rush territory needs a little bit more of that,
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I'm the only one holding up PC.
Kind of.
I'm not doing it that well. All things considered.
I will tell you, as an Xbox content creator, the last 3 years I've heard so much PC talk because of how Xbox's strategy is shifting to make their games more available on all platforms, including PlayStation and such, but like to make that Amazon Fire Stick be an avenue for Game Pass, to make mobile. Like I regularly attach my Backbone to my Pixel 8 Pro and play Xbox games. and maybe not the high fidelity, Twitch shooter type stuff, but I mean Gears Tactics and Lords of the Fallen and a number of others, because the latency has gotten to the point where it's very manageable to play most games on there if you have a solid Wi-Fi connection. So like when I visited my in-laws a few weeks back, I was playing Xbox just on my phone when we were in Williamsburg for to go to Busch Gardens. In the hotel room, I didn't take my S, I just played on my phone. And so like I've been checking out the tech world, and the ROG Ally is one of those things that if I didn't work across the street, like I ride my bike to work half the time because I'm that guy, I would have a ROG Ally for commutes or for lunch breaks or something like that. And I'm really, one, I enjoy hearing you talk tech, but two, as an Xbox guy, it's neat seeing the worlds go consoleless. It still hurts my soul, but it's neat because it means I learn a lot about other technologies.
As a PC gamer now, I'm more like a console gaming expat, because like I didn't really start like really amping up on PC gaming till maybe about 7 years ago, because I work in IT. But before that, like I was not really like super hardcore into computers and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, it was one of those things where you basically had to like push me into the mosh pit of it. And then once I started getting like a leg for like how PC gaming goes and stuff, and of course, like, just talking about like everything from SSDs to GPUs to CPUs, motherboards, all this stuff, like you see that little tech nerd getting all hot and bothered by this stuff. And that's kind of what happened. Like I transitioned from console gaming, even though I have my PS5 over here, I have my Switch over here, but the PC gaming like side just got their hooks into me to a point where I was like, you know what, this is kind of where I like to be, like as far as gaming goes. And yeah, I mean, like I try not to be that master racer that is all like frames and like high numbers of freaking just anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's more along the lines of like, like I kind of seen what games look like when like everything's perfect. And not saying anything bad about consoles, because consoles are a streamlined experience to make sure everybody can play the exact same way, whereas PC is kind of like the wild west.
Mm-hmm.
Like I might come in with a Colt and this guy's got a Gatling gun,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like their equipment and what they're playing their games on, stuff like that. But like the fact that like the like the stuff that you can do on PC gaming just always is always exciting. Everything, like now, like we got handheld PCs, like and they're not just laptops. Like honestly, the ROG Ally saved my bank account a lot of money, because like I was legit going to buy a gaming laptop that was going to at least be a supplement to my actual PC, and that was going to be like $3,000.
Wow.
So yeah, I will spend $700 any day, or $750 to decide to get that ROG Ally X.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, LeRon. Do it.
What, Ally X or gaming laptop?
Ally X. We'll talk after the recording.
Okay.
I need to ask you some questions anyway.
Okay, sure.
So on the other end of the spectrum, I've been playing a lot of Switch this weekend. I'm almost done.
Speaking of Switch, hold on real quickly. Speaking of Switch, Andre's like, hey man, I'm thinking about getting Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. I was like, don't you dare. You have a gaming PC. Like, don't get Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch and then force me to play with you on the Switch. Don't do that to me after I've dropped 900 hours into Rise and Sunbreak on the PC side.
Just for that reason.
No, I'm gonna buy him the Master Collection on PC and be like, hey, here you go. Sign a Steam code. He's gonna be like, what's this? I was like, just pop it in Steam.
Jeez.
And don't make me walk all the way to Canada and murder you if you never use it.
Gosh. Man. Anyways, I've been playing Paper Mario, which I don't know how much more I can say about Paper Mario before book club that we haven't already said on the show the last couple weeks, but I want to like this game so much. I really do. But with the backtracking and just like there's so much so much talking / not talking because you have to read it all, and it's like there's like literal 10 to 15 minute spurts where you're just reading text, and it's like I just want to play the game, because actually playing the game is fun, like the actual playing of the game. But every 10 feet you have to stop, you have to talk
So
to your
wait,
party member, you have to like interact with something, and it's like, oh my gosh, come on, just let me walk forward, please.
hold on a second, because Pat, you said in 2 weeks running that the one thing that kind of irks you about the game is all the backtracking.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
Corey, now you're saying like dialogue.
Well, backtracking and there's so much talking. There's
All
literally
right,
a
so
joke. There's literally a joke in the game, multiple jokes where, somebody's telling a story and then Mario falls asleep because they're talking for too long. And I'm like, yes,
That is
this is how I
true,
feel every time
actually.
somebody talks.
That actually is true.
So, anyways,
Mario falls
it's-
asleep quite often during the conversations.
Yeah. I've also been continuing my trek through Echoes Act 2 of Destiny. Man, if you guys are Destiny people out there, there's some lore stuff going on. The conductor, oh my gosh, it's Maya Sundaresh. I can't believe it. But I can't
Wait,
believe
what?
it. It's fine.
What?
Destiny people will know. Okay.
When you know, you know.
No, Maya Sundaresh is a character from Destiny lore who was like a bounty hunter, and Cade used to be her bodyguard. And when the EXO program started, she split herself into multiple versions of herself, perfect copies of herself. And they initially thought it was like 120 versions of herself, but it turned out to be like hundreds of copies of herself. And so one of them, which they actually teased this about a year ago in one of the lore entries, but since nobody liked Lightfall, nobody kind of paid attention to it. And it turns out that the conductor it's all but been confirmed that this new kind of villain during this episode is in fact a copy of Maya Sundaresh, and it's like very exciting for Destiny heads. So that's really exciting. Sorry if I just spoiled Act 2 for everybody.
There's
fine.
like 6 or 7 people in the world right now that are just like, oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah, I know. But then I have also guys, I've been playing a roguelike.
I heard.
I know.
Oh wait.
my gosh.
Oh. I'm excited to hear you talk about this because this is a game I desperately want to hit PlayStation and Xbox.
Yes. So I have been playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. I wasn't going to get it because everybody knows by now how I feel about roguelikes.
But it's
these types of
TMNT,
games.
bro.
I know. That's literally the only reason why I bought it, is because it was TMNT. And I saw people playing it like on YouTube and on Twitch, and I'm like, the combat looks super cool. Like, this combat's really fluid and fun. And I'm like, the character designs are like probably some of my favorite character designs in a long time for the Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that mix between like probably that early 2000s era Turtles mixed with like, late, like, I don't know, comic Turtles. And it's like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool. And so I'm like, you know what? It's $30. I'm going to bite the bullet. I bought it on Switch. I am, for somebody who doesn't like roguelikes, I am not disappointed.
Nice.
So
Okay.
here are the pros. Okay. And this is the Switch version, by the way. When it comes to the big boy consoles, it's probably going to run way better. The combat is super smooth and fluid. As you upgrade, your attacks get way more, let's say, they're powerful, but also faster, and your dash gets faster, and you can get shurikens that shoot lightning out of them. And, all the turtles feel unique and different. Leonardo's kind of like the all around character. If you kind of just want to experiment with certain things, Leonardo's probably your best bet. Donatello, obviously the ranged melee character. Raph is the strong, powerful up close character, which is really cool in certain situations and really terrible in other situations. Michelangelo is the fastest character, both in terms of combat and in movement. This is probably the most unique Ninja Turtles game I've played in a long time. I love Shredder's Revenge. I love the Cowabunga collection, but obviously Shredder's Revenge was it played off your expectations of what you knew of 16-bit Ninja Turtles, right? Side-scrolling, beat 'em up, cool, unique bosses, fun, multiplayer, that kind of stuff. This game does a lot of interesting, cool things, and the only issue I have with it is that it's a roguelike, because if it was just like a straight-up kind of RPG light where you upgrade your turtles with these unique moves and characters, because like I got to a couple bosses. I fought Rat King, and I fought Leatherhead, which is the crocodile enemy in Ninja Turtles. The bosses are super cool. They have multiple unique moves. As you progress through the fight, their moveset changes, so you have to be prepared for, Leatherhead will like slam the ground. Like the first stage, he kind of slams the ground, whips his tail around. And when you get to the second stage, he starts like dashing across the map. He sends like these waves at you because you're fighting him in the water. And then the third stage, like all these rats kind of come up and start attacking you while he's attacking you. So there's all the different stages to the bosses. There's mid bosses. You can get power-ups throughout each level. There is a shopkeep partway through each level where you turn in dragon coins to buy certain upgrades, and as you defeat certain enemies or you destroy boxes, you get more dragon coins to upgrade your characters. There are permanent upgrades, and then there are just run-based upgrades, kind of like Dead Cells. So I am enjoying the game very much. The only issue I personally have with it is that it's a roguelike. Some people are comparing it to like TMNT Hades is what people are calling it, and I don't disagree with them based on what I've seen and played of Hades. The very little I've played of Hades. So if you're waiting for this to come to one of the big boy consoles, I would highly recommend playing it when it comes to those. If you have a Switch, I would consider buying it, except there is a bit of a slowdown when there's a lot of things going on screen at once, because obviously the Switch is, the Switch.
Dated. It's dated.
Yeah. Yes.
So I will, at the risk of self-plugging, I will say that on XE, I love TMNT, and so I've had digital clips on the show to talk about Cowabunga Collection. I had 2 different interviews for Shredder's Revenge, one with the game proper, one with the DLC, Splinter, Dimension, something. But I love TMNT, and the idea of a game that takes the TMNT formula, the beat 'em up formula, and combines it with Hades to kind of give us something different than what Shredder's Revenge and Cowabunga Collection did. I'm digging that. Also knowing there's another TMNT game on the way later this year from Game Mill, which could be hit or miss. Game Mill is very hit or miss.
That's the one that's based on the movie, right? Yeah.
The movie verse, because they've got the show now.
Right. The show's coming out. Right?
Yeah. So I love TMNT, but like it's kind of neat to see all these come out, and hearing that you enjoyed Splinter Fate just reaffirms that I am very excited for this to come to. I'm such a jerk when I say this, but like the adult consoles, like the twin sticks, because like it's just ready for that. Like I'm ready for that.
Look, I've double dipped on every single Ninja Turtles game that's come out. So I play it on the Switch when I'm away, and I play it on the other consoles when I'm at home. But
nice.
I will here's the thing: I will probably buy it when it comes to Xbox again.
Nice.
I will probably buy it again. The cool thing too is that the story is really interesting. So like the story basically is that Shredder has used some ancient magic to kidnap Splinter, and Splinter is communicating with you through this magic. Think 1990 original Ninja Turtle movie when they're sitting around the campfire. You see his kind of shadow ghost kind of pop up in the fire. That kind of presentation, and he helps you upgrade your characters permanently after each run. And at the end of every run, you get a little bit of the story, and you get a little bit more of what's going on, and you get, well, this character, and this character are out there, and then where's, then you have these little side missions of like, where's Casey Jones at, and you're gonna have to go find Casey Jones at some point in a run, right? And so you unlock little bits and pieces. April gives you little bits and pieces of what's going on too, above ground. It's very interesting to the point where it doesn't really feel like a roguelike. And I think playing it like that made me forget that it was a roguelike for a while until you die and you have to restart, and it's like, whatever.
Very curious how they pull that off as a roguelike. Does that mean you like repeat the levels over after you die?
They are kind of like how in Returnal, like all the levels were kind of procedurally generated with handcrafted blocks. Or I guess Remnant 2 would also be kind of that way. It's kind of like that, where you go through a section of a level, you hit this portal, and you jump to like the next section of the level, but it could be a different block, a handcrafted block that they put in there. So, and then they'll be very clear of like, you're about to go into a boss room, because there'll be a big portal with a purple skull on it, and be like, oh, okay, well, boss is coming up. So that's cool too. Also, the whole game you can play multiplayer, online or couch co-op, which is cool. Every run you can call in a multiplayer character. I don't know if it's 4 players. I know it's at least 2. I would imagine once it gets ported to the other consoles, it'll be 4. But again, Switch and Nintendo's online, not great. So, but that's it. That's all I've been playing. I've also been playing a little bit of Gears of War 2 for some reason. On the Series X. This is really the first time I put more than 5 minutes into a backwards compatible 360 game. And man, the Gears games still look really good. I'm one of these people who was like, where's the Marcus Phoenix collection? And I'm like, Xbox doesn't really need it. I think they're going to need one eventually, just to have those games native on PC at some point. But man, if you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network. All right, let's get into our weekly segment, everybody. This rotating weekly segment is Respect the Classics. This is where we all pick a classic game at least 2 generations old. We're not playing the 10 years or older, because that's still like PS4 era, and it's like, well, Uncharted 4 is great. Get it. So 2 generations back, a game that you would recommend somebody needs to play as I would say a core gamer. I was going to say a hardcore gamer, but I don't know. I don't like that word. It's weird, because, I would consider my nephew a hardcore gamer, but all he plays is Fortnite, but he's like a really hardcore Fortnite player. So I will go first, I guess, because I want to.
How far back are we going?
Two generations. So
At
like
least.
360, PS3 era or older.
Oh, that's so easy. Oh, I got this. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready. I think, and Luke, I think you're going to agree with me on this, because
I feel
it could possibly happen in the near future. The Transformers Cybertron games, specifically War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, which are some of the coolest third-person shooters I've ever played outside of Gears. The way you transform and can turn into vehicle mode and switch back on the fly, fighting, obviously you can beat Decepticons or the Autobots. It's such a cool and unique experience that I am really sad we never got like a real third game. We did get that Rise of the Darkspark game, which kind of tried to merge the Cybertron and the movie universes together, and it was not very good. But those 2 games in particular, and Hasbro has said they would, now that because those are Activision games, and now that Microsoft owns Activision, Hasbro has said that they would like to maybe see those games be revived, and that would be great to see Xbox kind of pursue that for, Game Pass kind of either backwards compatibility. I know they had Xbox One SKUs of those games at one point for a little bit, but I think everybody needs to play those Cybertron Transformers games. They are excellent.
Great choices.
Yeah. I would say Fall of Cybertron is better, the second one, but the first one is 3-player co-op multiplayer, which is also really cool, which is one of the sad features that was cut from the second game, but I would say overall Fall of Cybertron is better in my opinion, but they're both great. High Moon Studios. Man. Now they're on Call of Duty.
Yeah, they're not the same studio. You could put the name back on it, but they wouldn't be the same game studio anymore.
It's okay. Luke, what about you?
So make sure I have the idea right. These are tentpole games that we think everyone should kind of have in their core memory from the 360 PS3 era.
Yeah, or before.
Okay. Or before. You could go back like original Super Mario Brothers. I think everyone should play Mario 3.
Yeah, but
Okay, so I'm gonna go just for the sake of discussion. I'm gonna stick with the 360 PS3 era.
Cool.
Just because I think that's a great time. To me, that was one of the coolest times in games, and I wonder if it has to do with my age or not. I can't quite tell. But I feel like a lot of great games happened year after year, 2007, 2008, 2009, just hits. So I think Red Dead Redemption is one of the pillar titles from that era that I think people could really enjoy. I know they did the re-release for PS5, but it's not remastered. It's like this weird uptick that the FPS boost on Xbox is still better than. So like they did this weird kind of re-release to showcase. Maybe it was PS4. Feel free to fact check me. But nonetheless, Red Dead Redemption was a special core memory game from that era, for sure. We also were gifted with the Arkham franchise in that time, which I think I talked in our pre-show. Arkham is very special to me. I think Arkham Asylum. Oh, there's thunder. Sorry, guys. Arkham Asylum is a fantastic pillar title that is a core memory for me, and I think a lot of people. If you've not experienced the genesis of the modern superhero genre, like before Spider-Man, there was Arkham, and that was just how good the Arkham series was, and it really stepped up Batman video games and superhero video games in a way that the Dark Knight and Batman Begins did for movies, and the MCU did for movies. So I want to say that one. And then I had one other one, and I lost it. It's going to come back to me. So I'll let somebody else hop in.
Well, when it comes back, you just blurt it out. It'll be fine.
It'll
be fine. Pat, what about you?
Man, I have one that I was going to go with the NES, but maybe I should stick with theme here and, go with the 360 era.
They convinced me to go the theme, so I changed my game.
Look, Pat, you can do whatever you want. Okay, no one's stopping you.
I am going with the theme. We got an Xbox guy here today. We're going to talk about Xbox games. All right?
Oh, I don't know if I can do that.
No.
I was just thinking with the era. PS3 had PS3's. It's not a core memory game, but like I bought a PS3 for Metal Gear Solid 4, which unfortunately you have to play every other game to understand. But the gameplay was incredible and unrivaled in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Well, I'm gonna go with the best collaboration between an American company and a JRPG, Lost Odyssey.
Yes.
That was the end. It was like the beginning of the end of classic JRPGs. It was still in Hironobu Sakagushi's like heyday. Like he's still running off of the vibes of his last Final Fantasy X. But he was trying to move on to his Mistwalker company. And they had a deal struck with Xbox, so we got a game called Blue Dragon first, which was okay, but it had pacing issues. But then we also got Lost Odyssey, and that was like a pinnacle of like old school JRPG with some awesome storytelling.
Yeah, I love the immortal, like the story of the immortals. I love the whole vibe of that game. Love it. LeRon, what about you?
I'm going with Infamous for the PS3.
Nice.
Like that was and I'm going with the original game specifically, even though I enjoyed like the Infamous 2 as well as the Festival of the Damned, the side game, I guess you can call it. But with Infamous, it was one of those games where they introduced this thing called the karmic system. And I know it's not anything new, right? But basically, like you can become your own superhero, and that's really what the game was. That's really what Sucker Punch was going for back when they did this. Like they were going for make your own superhero, and basically, unlike like Mass Effect, for example, where you could straddle the line and be both Renegade and Paragon. Like Infamous was pushing you to be all in on one side or whatnot and stuff like that. And that was something that was really refreshing. Also, like the art style that the first game introduced, because the second game, and of course Festival of the Damned, like they definitely had their own unique art style to it. But there was something like really, it was almost gritty and almost like dark comic book like style for that first Infamous game. And playing with Cole, and like dealing and like learning how he's dealing with his powers and stuff, and like seeing like all the duality that's going on, because not just him like struggling to be like a good guy or a bad guy, but also duality of like some of his partners, because you have that guy Zeke who's just like a hillbilly fuck up. You had Agent, was it Quo? I think it was Quo might have been the second game. I'm not sure, but you basically had like she was I want to say she was CIA or something. She was trying to investigate like the origins of the accident that started the whole superpower thing going on. And then something happens and she winds up getting powers and stuff like that, and then she has explored that dual side of her nature as well and stuff like that. And it was just fantastic. And it's set up a wonderful like universe, I also include Second Son in this, even though I didn't like Second Son that much, but Second Son on PS4, like it was a graphical extravaganza. Like it was one of those games that actually showed like how pretty like PS4 games could be, because it wasn't in the launch window of the PS4, but it wasn't a launch title, and it was nice.
Second Son was my very first platinum trophy.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I love the Infamous games. They are so cool. And it bums me out that Spider-Man is as good as it is, which sounds silly to say because I love the Spider-Man games. But Infamous was a cool series, and I wanted more of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I just feel like, I don't know, like I feel like by the time Infamous got the Second Son, like people were ready to move on, from it. And honestly, I think the lack of interest from the fans is what kind of like killed it, because I feel like it could have went on, a little bit longer, but hey, we got Spider-Man, so I'm happy.
Second Son was a victim of, I think, being a launch title. And
yes.
Because of that, the install base wasn't as big, and PS4 grew rapidly, but like they had, was it Last Light came out, but then
Last Light.
Yeah, when PS4 hit its stride, unfortunately, Infamous felt like a launch game next to some of the better titles. I thought of my other game for core memories in the 360 era. Did you guys play Split Second? Ever?
Oh, the racing game? Yeah.
The racing game. Now, it sounds so silly, but that racing game was the pinnacle peak of, I think, arcade goodness in racing, because Mario Kart lives in its special realm, and Forza / Gran Turismo lives in a realm, but Split Second had, and Blur to a lesser extent, occupied this weird kind of arcadey vibe that I really liked, and I have some core memories with that one. And I think anybody that has never played Split Second, you could go there and have a really good hour, 2, 3, 4 hours there. But I lost a lot more than that into those games.
Yeah, it kind of felt like it was filling that Project Gotham void almost in a way, but like,
sillier.
Like, with the buildings falling and stuff. And that also reminds me too of like, that weird one-off Disney ATV game, Pure. Remember Pure?
Yeah.
That game was something. So I remember my mom bought it for me for Christmas or my birthday or something. She had no idea what it was. It just said Disney on the box, so she bought it because we're like a Disney family. So I was like, thanks. But I played a ton of it, so hidden gem. Man, what a great group of games. Everybody go check out all those games. Play them all.
On
Yeah.
360.
Yeah.
Except for Infamous.
Oh geez.
A lot of mine were multiplayer. I don't think I picked any exclusives.
Hey, at least I stayed in the generation. You know,
I picked. Yeah,
I didn't have a 360. What would you want me to say? Like Mass Effect? Of course, I know Mass Effect.
You could
Of
have
course,
gone
I know
Mass Effect.
Oh,
That eventually ended up on PS3, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's when the trilogy came out for PS3. That's when I officially like dove in.
man, that box set on PS3 was cool looking too.
I know. Like I gifted it to a friend. Like I don't know. Like there are certain games. Like I've gotten to an age now with games to where like just like how like you give somebody a book that like a really good book that you read and you want to pass on. I've started doing that with some of my games, not all of my games, but I mean like some of my games. Like for example, the original Bayonetta. Like I gave that to somebody because I really want them to play it. And just the Mass Effect. I gave the entire Mass Effect trilogy to somebody, and they've tried to give it back to me. I was like, no, like it's yours. Like do what you will with it.
Yeah.
Besides the fact I don't have. Oh well, my PS3 is kind of in mothballs right now, so that's. and also, I don't break out old systems. I just emulate them.
Oh man, Nintendo's gonna come get you one day, LeRon.
Oh whatever.
Miyamoto's gonna stand behind you. One day.
Oh God! Now with that creepy ass smile of his, no,
Yeah,
no.
He's gonna shove you in one of those rides at Universal. You're just gonna be a prop. Oh man,
LeRon, you shouldn't do that.
Yo, speaking of Nintendo, yo, I want that Luigi that shirt Luigi was wearing in that artwork. That shirt is cool.
I don't know if I know what you're.
I sent y'all a picture of it in the chat. I'll have to find it again.
Oh. Anyways, well. I mean, look, Luigi's a stylish man. Let me tell you. That's all I have to tell you. Luigi's stylish. So, all right. Well, we're gonna hit our Boss Rush banter of the week, and then Luke, I know that you have a hard out, so we're gonna get you out of here on time. But let's just answer this for about 5 minutes or so, and
sounds good.
Boss Rush banter of the week, as you guys know. Boss Rush Banter is our daily feature over on bossrush.net. Brings up a topic of conversation that may or may not be relevant to your interests. I had a different one, and it turns out that Pat, Austin, and Ed all answered it on PalBlock this week, so I had to switch it up on the fly. But this one is called Reviving a Culture Through FromSoftware's Community. It is an article by wow, I can't read. Man, this website is rough. I got to change this background. Symphonia. What?
Yeah, like whoever's in charge of the website right now, like they need to get together.
They're fired. So my whole thing with this is cultivating a community through gaming, whether it's a specific game. Or, Luke, I know you're big in the Xbox community. I'm big in the Destiny community. LeRon, I know you're pretty big into Monster Hunter. Pat, you're all over the place.
Yes, I am.
Are we creating communities, or are we part of communities do we think that they are good for gaming? Do we think that we should be cultivating a different type of culture within these communities? Overall, how do we feel about our kind of not just specific gaming communities, but gaming communities in general? I know a lot of people, when we go on Twitter or social media, it feels toxic sometimes with the, faceless avatars kind of commenting through these sections, or, you go in these Facebook groups and people have no time, nothing else to worry about. But overall, I've had some pretty decent experiences in communities, specifically the Xbox and the Destiny community.
Same.
Luke, I'm going to go your way first. How are you feeling about cultivating a culture in communities?
So yeah, well, man, it's a very deep discussion point. But I think one of the things you called out in the Boss Rush banter is the messages that people leave each other in Elden Ring, and how that developed. It developed its own comedic stance. For example, people would put in a time spot. They would put the word fort and then night, and then like there were Asian gamers that were playing that didn't get the joke. And so they didn't know what Fortnite was in the same way, like because it didn't translate 1-to-1 or something like that. I think gaming communities are incredible. They're powerful. They do a lot of good across a lot of different spectrums, from things like fundraising with Extra Life each year to conventions. My co-host Logan has had one of the worst years of his life in his personal life. It's just been brutal to him. And this past weekend, he hosts separately from XCP, he hosts a Sea of Thieves podcast, and they had their convention. And I saw him come back alive in his pictures. He was happy. He was smiling. And I saw my friend again. And it was really cool. And that community rallied there. I had the chance to be in LA for Summer Game Fest. We were in the auditorium for Summer Game Fest. We were at Play Days for developer interviews. And then we were in the room for the Xbox auditorium with all these content creators. And then I don't want to call them fans of me, but they were fans of Xbox, and they knew my show, and they gave me gifts. Like my friend Anubis, he saw me, he made me this on the hopes that he would see me. It's just this pin. Just because we were up making, content in a world that we enjoy, and communities were being built. And then this past week, I could not beat Lords of the Fall. Maybe it was the week before. I couldn't beat that last area. I opened up multiplayer, and somebody just went in there, Sherpa'd me, helped me find all the little bonus things, like the little items, and then sent me messages on Xbox Live when our connection dropped and we reconnected. There are so many great communities in gaming that want to do good things and connect with people and be supportive, that if you check Twitter and look at only Twitter, you would think the world is coming to an end. But the reality is there are a lot of amazing people out there across. It doesn't matter what platform you play. It doesn't matter what race you are, what gender you identify with, or anything. There are people that just want to play and enjoy games and be good to each other. And selfishly, I will tell you that and this isn't meant to be a pitch, but it sounds like one. The XCP Discord, that community, they're so cool. Every morning, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. How's your day? What are you playing? Do you need help? Can you help me with this? There's so many people that just love games and want to be good to each other, that if you only look on Twitter, you're going to think it's in ruin. But the reality is no one gives a damn what box we're playing on and what platform it, whether you're team green, team blue, team red, whether you're on PC, no one cares. They just want to enjoy games and be happy. And that's 90% of people. And so I work really hard to connect with those people. I think gaming communities are incredible. I know I kind of got a little preachy. I don't mean to, but I find a lot of joy in games and meeting people in games. And so I hope more people get to see that side. And if you're not seeing that side, don't go on socials. Connect with people in communities around you. Like, I hope, LeRon, that you're able to connect with my buddy Asante, because he loves tech, he loves games, and hearing you talk about it, it was like I was listening to his show. And that's cool, man. That's fun. I don't know, man. I hope people see the good in gaming. So is that too preachy? I'm sorry.
No,
it got
Luke,
me.
You are absolutely spot on. Like, no, I don't think we've lost video game communities ever. Like, they're still around. Like, even Fallout 60 or 76 has a very supportive community. Like, if you're a new player and you jump in, all of a sudden people immediately zone in on you, not to grief you, but to actually give you like good starting shit to, help you like get yourself acclimated to the game. Like, you'll find that in any community. The only problem is like the very, very bare, like, minimum majority of loudmouths on Twitter or Twitch that, these are the ones that are like get good scrub and they gatekeep, and it's like that isn't the community. That's just someone,
This is jackasses.
yeah. That's not the gaming community. That's a completely different community of people who just want to see other people miserable. They really aren't that what I would consider a true gamer.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's pretty involved in the Destiny community, there's been so many times where, yeah, you go through LFG and you get the jerk once in a while who's like, oh, you don't have this, you don't have this, you can't play with us, you can't raid with us, you can't do this, you can't do that. But then you have like great communities like the Tower Casuals community, which is my Destiny podcast, or the Last Word community, or there are so many Destiny communities that are built to just help you through the game and teach you mechanics and teach you how to raid and do dungeons. And if you're not great at multiplayer, they will help you play some Trials of Osiris or Iron Banner or some of these other end game modes. And it's like, that's what a community of gaming is supposed to be about, is we're here to have fun, and everybody started somewhere in this game, and it's just happens to be that this is this person's turn to start. And I remember when I was playing during the Taken King, and if you didn't have a specific weapon, there was a whole a bunch of people that I knew that just wouldn't let you raid with them because you didn't have this one weapon. Well, I'm like, well, you have to complete this activity to get the weapon, so why can't I play with you to get the weapon so we can keep playing? And it's like, I don't understand gatekeeping. It's a terrible thing. And like Luke said, like if you go on Twitter or one of these other social media, you would think that the world is burning to the ground. And it's like, well, maybe it's just that platform. Maybe these people just need a life. And, I think we are all fortunate enough to have built communities, with, either XEP or Boss Rush or Tower Casuals or whatever community we're all a part of. Like, we've all built a community that sees the good in gaming for the most part. I'm sure there's been bad apples here and there, but like, it's not the overwhelming majority. It's the one bad apple or whatever. So I think community in gaming is good, whether you're playing a single player game or a multiplayer game, and it's a good thing. Well, yes. Luke, I know our time with you is at an end. Do you want to tell people again where they can find you?
Yeah, anyone that's listening, if you've enjoyed having me on here, please take a moment to search out the Xbox Expansion Pass. It's on all your podcast services and YouTube. But truly, I will say, whatever shows you're listening to, just support those creators, like, subscribes, financials if you're able, because it really helps all of us kind of keep going and build those communities, connect with people, whether you're, casually enjoying or whatnot. It makes a big difference. So I'll just say thank you guys for letting me join you. Honored to be on. It was a pleasure to be on, and hope you'll have me back sooner rather than later, because 2 years was too long, I think.
Yeah, 2 years too long. Luke, yeah, thanks for taking the time. I know you're a busy person. I know you have a popular show to keep going, and we love having you. Your show is great. Everybody go check out XEP, Insipid Ghost on socials. Thanks again, Luke, for joining us. We will be right back with questions, so stick around. We are back with the Boss Rush podcast. Thank you, Luke, for joining us for the first few segments. XEP, Xbox Expansion Pass podcast. Go check it out. Man, Luke's great. Love Luke.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Love Luke.
As awesome guest.
Yeah,
great hair.
Luke. Yeah, from two balding white guys, Luke has great hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Well, let's get into these listener questions. If you want to write in to the Boss Rush Podcast. You can go to our Discord, check out the Boss Rush Podcast feed, or go over to Patreon. All members, including free members, can comment on the question thread. You can head over there. Our first question tonight comes from the one true James via Discord. He says, right now, I'm playing 2 incredibly awesome games with unexpected blend of genres. Kunitsu-Gami, Path of the Goddess, is a hack and slash tower defense brawler. Veritas is a proper dungeon crawling Zelda-like. What unexpected blends of genres do you want to see in a game? LeRon, I'm going your way first.
What unexpected blend of games do I want to see in a game? I don't even know. Like in all seriousness, now Kunitsu-Gami, like when they first announced that game, I was like, what is this? You know, like
I thought it was Onimusha.
It would have been nice if it was Onimusha. It would have been nice, but then like once the game launched and I actually got to see it in action, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fucking cool. I feel like shoot, like I don't know, man. I really feel like, you know, like a game like Returnal, like, you know, kind of like was where I was going. Like Returnal was kind of the game like I didn't know I wanted until it came out. Basically, it was a shooter that was a rogue, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I'm just bad at blending genres. If I was going, nah, I feel like
LeRon stumped.
I am stumped. I really am. I really am, because I'm one of those people. I just enjoy games, like, and you know, like thinking up like genres or dream themes and stuff like that. Like, it's just not my thing. I just want to be pleasantly surprised when the game comes out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a traditionalist too, because you know, like if we take the Legend of Zelda series right now, you know, like its current iterations and stuff like that, you know, like I cannot wait for that new Zelda game to come out with Princess Zelda as a star, because it goes back to that style of Legend of Zelda that I love. You know, like I've had a hard time moving into like the current iterations of Zelda, and stuff like that. You know, so blends like that, I guess. So yeah, like I don't know why I haven't started Death's Door now that I think about it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm terrible at this question. I'm sorry. Someone please take it.
Pat, what about you?
Well, I've just recently, by playing Dungeons of Hinterberg, I didn't realize that Zelda and Persona could be a thing. But you know what? It works well. So I'm going to just go with a completely random mashup here. It's probably going to do absolutely horrible, but we're going to go with a fishing game with rhythm-based mechanics. You have to shred a great guitar solo and able to have a great catch.
Wow. That's quite the
It's like those RPGs that had like the freaking like the fishing side game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, wait, yeah, Breath of Fire 4, like the fishing sub game in that you actually had to do a rhythm thing. You had to bob the lure to the rhythm of the beat to get the fish.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So
I thought my idea was original.
it's definitely an original idea, Pat. It's definitely original. As for me, I've been playing a lot of well, not a lot of, but I've been playing that Turtles roguelite Splintered Fate, and I've also recently watched Digital Foundry's best performing Switch games video that came out the other day.
Yep.
And Metroid Dread was on there, and I'm like, how cool would it be if there was a Ninja Turtles Metroidvania game? Like a brawler Metroidvania.
Wasn't that what the old NES like
No.
Ninja Turtles game was?
No, those
I
are
feel like it
brawlers.
was. I feel like it
Those are
wasn't. It was hard as balls too.
No, just because
It was
the
level
swimming
based.
level had a maze doesn't mean it was a Metroidvania. Nobody knew what happened after you know, when you got to the maze, because nobody ever got that far. I guess that's not really a
underground.
blending of genres. I guess that just that's just slapping Ninja Turtles into a Metroidvania. How about, man, speaking of slapping things together, remember Yoku's Island Express, the pinball
That game was
Metroidvania?
amazing.
That game was awesome. It's like $3 all the time.
Check it out, people.
Yeah. Check it out.
Metroidvania and pinball.
Check it out. So, man, this is a tough question, I guess. I'm having a harder time with this than I thought I was going to.
I feel like like I said, I feel like it's more of a pleasant surprise, like when we get something that's a fusion of it. Like think of the first time when those roguelike card games came out, you know? Like everybody was like, what the fuck is this? You know?
I still say that. What the fuck is this?
You're like, you got that internet meme. What's that, brother? Brother,
yeah, it's something. So yeah, man, I don't know now. I would say like an RPG mixed with another, thing, but like RPGs are in every game now.
Roguelike minigame. Micro minigame.
Micro games. Yeah.
Isn't
that just
WarioWare? But I'm talking complete. No, that's just a mode in WarioWare.
How about a Zelda-like board game? Huh?
a Zelda-like board game?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool.
Zelda Party?
Well, no, more like when you enter a dungeon, it's laid out like a board game, and you have to play a board game, but get to the end of the dungeon by using board game mechanics, and then you fight the boss with, I don't know what you fight the boss with, like some chance cards from Monopoly. I don't know. Don't go to jail. Don't collect $200. Our next question comes from Marine Gamer 1289 via YouTube comment. We've been getting a lot of YouTube comments lately. Pretty happy with that.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. It's kind of what we want. We've encouraged some people to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah. Can I just say something about YouTube real quick? And I'm not like trying to like toot our horns or anything, but we've had more YouTube views on the last 3 episodes of the Boss Rush podcast than we have in like the last 3 months.
Oh, there you go. You just jinxed it.
Look, man, it's a good time.
You ruined it. You played yourself.
Look, it was a good run. Marine Gamer asks, what do you think about Xbox and Microsoft making a Steambox Steambox cross Steam Deck type device for the next gen, but more of a universal machine that includes Xbox, Steam, Epic, GOG, and other PC storefronts? Do you think that would anger the Xbox fan base?
You can't already anger them more than they've been,
right?
I mean, I think honestly the only reason why they haven't leaned into this already is because of their backwards compatible initiative for Xbox, and none of the 360 or original Xbox games are backwards compatible on a PC, really, right? And so I honestly think that's the only reason. If they could figure out a way to integrate 360 and original Xbox backwards compatibility for Xbox into a Xbox on PC type setting, I think they would jump at the bits to do this, because I think it makes the most sense for Xbox at this point to do this, especially with what they've been saying, them kind of teasing a handheld, but also partnering with, Asus to do the ROG Ally. LeRon, you play a lot with the ROG Ally. You probably have the most experience with this type of setup. What do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So here's the cool thing. It's not just the ROG Ally. It is this, the ROG Ally though. Like you can already have all these, access to all these different platforms: Xbox, Steam, Epic, GOG, all these storefronts, Uplay and stuff like that. And then like just using my Raw Ally for as an example, like I streamlined that gaming experience even more by downloading a program called Play Night, and it basically is the ultimate launcher for all your launchers because it's basically Steam on crack. So like, yeah, I can have everything in there, including my emulators, which I know emulators is a bad word. I know this, but
Not a
emulators
terrible word.
emulators is like the best in my opinion. But but yeah, but honestly, like I think the main thing that's holding all this back is like like these devices come out and they have the capabilities of doing all this stuff, but the thing that holds it all back is because like everybody wants their piece of the pie somewhere. We're already noticing that Sony is starting to branch off from trying to break away from Steam. Because Sony doesn't want Steam like snapping upwards of 40% of the revenue for PlayStation games on PC that are purchased there and stuff like that. I mean, now, and that's also why like PlayStation Network launchers are now showing up, for like all new games and stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying like Sony's being a bad guy about this because I mean, without getting too deep into the weeds here, like just like you have to have like an Xbox account to play like the Game Pass games on like a ROG Ally, a Steam Deck, or actually, I'm like, yeah, you can do some foolery to get Xbox Game Pass on Steam Deck, but you all know what I mean. I think the fan base so much. I don't think the fan base so much would be that upset about it specifically, because I feel like the Xbox fan base is kind of weird in a way, just slightly, because
insult the Xbox players, LeRon.
I'm not insulting the Xbox players. I actually am about to give them a compliment because, like, in all seriousness, like like Xbox gamers have really come to embrace about being able to play your games anywhere and stuff like that. They really have. And I don't know if it's just because like Microsoft proper Xbox has been beating them over the head. Oh, you're going to play your games where the hell you want to play them. It's no longer a thing of you're going to be bound to an Xbox console at this point.
I think they're looking at it as, oh, Sony boys are going to be funding our next game.
That too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they might. You don't know. Sea of Thieves. Pretty.
It's a brave new world out there.
Yeah, it's something out there. Yeah, Pat, what do you think?
I don't have a dog in this fight, to be perfectly honest. If they come up with something that supports like all the, I think that's got to be hard because those are all competitors of each other. So having a system that has all the competitors on one would not work because you would never get them to cooperate to do that.
Well, I mean, it would just be a PC at that point, right? I mean,
yeah.
It would just be like an Xbox branded PC at that point with probably like some sort of custom UI that's reminiscent to an Xbox, but would probably be more PC centric, and it would probably boot into like a customized kind of setup, right? And I think this is a fascinating conversation, LeRon, that maybe we can have on like a bonus show or something.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that this is a topic that is worth having a discussion.
We were kind of like in the lines of like talking about something like this a while back. We just never found the time to do it. So like we should definitely like think about coming back to something like this.
Yeah, I think a special edition Boss Rush podcast is in the works.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get the creator that Luke just told us about. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the tech guy, that might make sense, right? As a conversation to have.
Definitely.
Look at us doing things behind the scenes as we are
live on the show.
You show them, people. You show them.
Sam Hall writes in via Patreon. What is your cadence for playing games? Do you go from open world to open world? Do you have a palate cleanser game? How do you make those choices?
I feel like
Oh,
this
man.
question was meant for me.
Well, then answer it, Pat.
How do I do it? I definitely have to switch up my genres, especially when I complete something. Such as going from a 100-hour RPG. What I did immediately was I went into a retro PlayStation 2 game, Daxter. Um, but that is something I have to do. I have trouble jumping from something to something similar. Um, and that's kind of also like I also have several games in rotation as well. I'm not usually just stuck on one game. Like I will play other things. Like my Picross, for example, is definitely a palate cleanser for me. But I also have other little things that I might just be like picking here and there. That's a completely different genre. But for me, definitely, I need like a variety to keep my ADD brain like from malfunctioning.
LeRon, what about you?
I I'm not so much I'm not so much a jumper per se. Like I mean, if anything, you can just go back like weeks into my what are we playing, and it seems like I'm always playing the same exact games, you know, until like I beat something and something moves off the list or whatnot. I am a palate cleanser person though. Like I believe in that, and yeah, I will definitely. And I think we mentioned this. Well, I know for sure I said something about this a while back, but I would definitely like stop what I'm doing and play like Mega Man 2 or 3 and just like, like get it done, Um stuff that like that. Um Also, as far as like how I make my choices, honestly, it's just basically like how I feel in the moment and stuff like that because I still feel like even though I kind of like pigeonhole myself in like genres of games and stuff like that, I'm always playing a Monster Hunter game. I'm always playing a fighting game. I'm always playing like some little weird, quirky little game. But also, I'm always going back to like games I just love and enjoy, like my Dead Spaces, my Mass Effects, stuff like that. So it's just like a flavor of the week for me. For the most part, like as soon as that new Mario and Luigi game comes out, like I'm gonna be on all over it like a bad habit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, like I always have like the main game I'm playing, which is right now it's Paper Mario right now until it's finished tomorrow, hopefully. So I have my main game, and then I'll have my right before bed game, which was Tetris Effect for the last few weeks, but now I think it's going to be the Ninja Turtles game. One run until I fall asleep and then go to bed. And then I have my, LeRon, you have Monster Hunter, I have Destiny. It's just always being played at some point, whether it's, uh, it's just always on somewhere, whether it's on or not. It's just, I'm always paying attention to it. I'm always trying to figure out, what my next character build is. I'm always trying to figure out, what's coming and, story stuff. And I mean, you saw how excited I got during what we've been playing tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, like that, like for Destiny lore nuts, that's like a big deal that might possibly be the case. And it's stuff like that keeps Destiny in the rotation for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, as for like a main game, like Pat, I have to change genres. I can't go from like, okay, I'm playing Paper Mario now. I can't go, you know, go play another, Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi or even another RPG at this point. I have to go play. I'll probably play something like, I don't know, maybe I'll go back and finally finish Super Mario 3D World or uh Link's Awakening, right? It can't be a turn-based something. So,
or Ocarina of Time.
oh yeah, that's our next book club game, isn't it? Yeah, I will have to play Ocarina of Time at some point. Yes, which I'm kind of excited because I've only played that game once.
I played it so many times. It's memorized.
I I have only played through that entire game one time, which you can go back and check prior episodes of Pow Block or this to hear that story. Maybe I'll tell it later. But yeah. Our last question of the evening comes from Placed Austin Campbell, guest star of Nintendo Power Block this week. I miss Austin. He writes in via Discord, what's the best fishing mode in a game?
I just talked about it.
I know. I almost moved this question up as you were talking about it, but then the topic changed again. So I was like, well, maybe that's not like a.
Okay, so we go back. So we go back to Breath of Fire 4 and the fishing game. Some game. Okay, so like I said, like like you're going to the beat of the rhythm, right? But as soon as the fish gets on the hook and you start trying to reel it in, like all of a sudden it gets this like it goes from like the video game music to like this mambo dance music. It is the funniest thing until like you like yank the fish out of the water and stuff like that. Oh my god, I've had to go back and play Breath of Fire 4 now. Like that was Breath of Fire 4 was the first Breath of Fire game I ever played, and then I went back and played 3 and 2 and 1. And then that travesty of Breath of Fire 5 came out, and I was like, come on, man. We can't
mobile
end
game?
it. Huh?
Was
No. Oh, that's right. It was a mobile game. No.
No.
Breath of Fire 5 came out on the PS2.
Yeah,
And
Dragon
man,
Quarter.
I was like, you can't end it like this. And yep, they ended it like that.
Oh no. Don't worry, Breath of Fire 6 any day now.
That's okay.
Oh, the way Capcom's reviving old classics and stuff like that. It's a possibility.
Maybe one day.
Maybe
Until
not.
then, you'll have to think of Dragon's Dogma as your spiritual successor.
Oh no. What about you, Pat?
All right, so I love fishing mini games in any kind of game. Like Stellar Blade's actually got a pretty good one right now. But the one I think that I really enjoyed recently was Tales of Arise. It's a fishing game, but you have a stamina bar. The fish is going to go into different directions, and you have to catch it. Like it's almost like a cute quick time event. If you push the wrong direction at the time, then your stamina bar is going to like lose out instead of the fishes, and it's just that fight of endurance, and it makes you feel like you really won that fish when you actually reel in a big one.
Nice. Man, fishing games, when you pull in the big fish and they like reward you for it, nothing better.
Yeah.
Nothing better.
Like I said, Stellar Blade's got some pretty they're pulling out the fish animation is it's pretty spectacular.
Nice. So it's funny because not to go back to Destiny, but Destiny added fishing last year.
Interesting.
During which season was it? It was Season of the Deep. They added fishing.
Of course.
And you could go all around the Sol system, and there was like and each fish had like a different ranking. Like they had the common, the uncommon, the legendary, and the exotic fish. And you could put them in your fish tank and get rewards for turning fish into your fish tank. That it was okay. I also really enjoyed fishing in Disney Dreamlight Valley. Mostly for recipes and giving gifts to your friends. You give them fish, and if they don't like fish, it's pretty funny. But that was pretty fun. And then Final Fantasy 15 had a fishing game in it.
It did. I'm trying to remember what that was because I thought I remembered it being pretty fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, but I feel like did they patch it in later, or they changed it at some point? I don't 100% remember how that went, but I remember the fishing being pretty fun in that game too.
I mean, they made a VR game out of it.
Yeah. VR fishing. Man. Mm-hmm. What a world we live in. Man, am I the only one that liked Final Fantasy 15? I feel like I'm the only one that liked.
No, I liked it.
I really liked Final Fantasy 15.
I didn't really give it a solid chance, so I can't say yes or no.
It didn't feel much like a Final Fantasy, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I liked it. it ended kind of abruptly, but I also played it after or before all the patches and all the DLC and that stuff. So
Yep, it ended in such a way that they had to finish it by a book.
yeah. Remember when they
Because
had that huge slate of DLC planned and they only got through like a third of it and they canceled it all?
Yeah, and then they had to make a book.
Yeah. And then you had to watch the anime and the movie before.
Kingsglaive.
Mhm.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, no, the ending is very, very different compared to what the game actually ended with. In the end, it was actually Bahamut that set everything up. He wanted to end the bloodline, and so he had created the curse that hit Arden, and had Arden, like, this was a plan thousands of years in the making, and his goal was to pit Arden against, the rest of the Caius bloodline so that they would eliminate each other, because it was that bloodline that subjugated the Eidolons in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Man, what a game. What a game. But that's it. That's all of our questions. That's all we got. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. You can check us out every Monday. Remember, if you are a patron of the Boss Rush Network, for just $1, you get our pre-show. We had a really great topic this week. Again, brought to us by LeRon Dawkins. 3 weeks in a row, man.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping the hot streak can keep going.
Pre-show king here.
It's my show now.
Oh, God.
Give up your After Dark and just become the pre-show producer.
Oh my God, the masses would riot if we just canceled. If we just canceled After Dark,
man. After Dark.
We can't cancel After Dark until we get canceled.
Yeah. The audience will cancel After Dark.
One day.
I want to thank our guest tonight, Luke Lohr, for coming on. Check out Xbox Expansion Pass. Pat, LeRon, thank you both tonight for your time as always.
Yeah.
Everyone out there, remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. Subscribe on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
So long.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.